Hello, Laziali all over the world. Welcome to another episode of Lazio Lounge. We have to talk about yesterday night game, Inter Lazio. We knew it was going to be difficult. I don't know if we can be happy about the performance or sad because I'm not impressed by this Inter team. I'm not convinced Kivo is the right manager, but at the end, I think Inter deserve to win. As you know, Alazar is not with us, but we have a dear friend, Jerry Mancini. Hi, Jerry. Thanks for joining me today.
No, thanks for having me. Thank you.
So Jerry, I don't know. Did we expect something special last night, or did you see that coming, the defeat coming for us?
You see the defeat coming. I think it's the fashion that we should be unexpected. Like we shouldn't be surprised how we lost again. It's the way Lazio loses is we beat ourselves. That's how I've noticed in every game that we've lost, probably, or most of the games. So you see, the first game was a mistake by Isaacson. The second goal, there's a mistake in the midfield. Barella wins the battle. Lazzari kind of cheats on the right side. You can see Romagnoli had to be subbed off after that goal because you can see he wasn't 100%. So
Yeah.
I think if he's healthy, that goal doesn't go in. I think he takes his man much better.
Yeah, it's disappointing because it's a tough game. It's going to be difficult, and you can see the stupid goals after 2 minutes. I mean, you're going to struggle if you go down after a couple of minutes. It's going to be pretty much impossible. And this team, unfortunately, has proven that every time we go down, it's pretty much impossible to recover. And Isaacson has been one of our best players in the last couple of games, but yesterday it's a stupid mistake. You are close to our box. You should kick the ball away, right?
Well, I agree with you with that, but I'll ask you this. Do you think that playing the same lineup, game in and game out, eventually leads to mental errors, fatigue, not being able to play 100%? I know they don't play midweek, but they played on the Monday, they played on the Thursday, they played on the Sunday, I believe it was. Eventually, if you don't rotate any players, it catches up. What do you
Yeah,
think?
and especially we have to mention that Isaacson just came back from a long disease. Lazzari, who didn't help in that chance, in that opportunity, is
Mm-hmm.
another player who is in and out the injury list. So Romagnoli, you mentioned, was a big surprise. Honestly, Jerry, I thought Proskat would have started. So what do you read about Romagnoli starting instead of Proskat? Do you think it's a lack of confidence in a Danish player, or do you think Romagnoli is so important for this defense that Sarri preferred to start him? And what about Patrick? He's pretty much invisible, right? He's back in the squad since
Yeah.
the second game of the Serie A, but pretty much never played.
I think this is a coach who's stubborn, who has. It's true though. He has his preferred players. I don't think Dia would be playing, for example, right now, if Tati was 100%. There's no way Dia plays every game. We probably wouldn't even see him till the 80th minute if Tati was allowed to play right now. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I saw some of the comments after the game yesterday. He says that he wants some players back after the break, but he can't promise, he said, because the doctors have to clear the players to come back, and he's not even sure when any players can come back. The one thing he did say that, which I do agree, is that after giving up the first goal, I thought the team responded well. They fought the whole game. They didn't break down. They didn't concede 3 more goals after like the old Lazio. So if you want to take a positive out of the game, I think that the attitude of this team is much better than what we've seen in maybe last season under Baroni. Um, the defending was still good yesterday overall.
I think
Um,
what you said is really right. I mean, it's perfect. This team in the past, how many times did we see conceding a goal after a couple of minutes and the game is finished, right? They stop playing. They don't even try anymore. Probably this difficult situation in which we are. Let's not forget we didn't have transfer market. A lot of players are struggling with injury, etc. We had to pick up Basic from outside of the list, etc. These players are giving all they have, which is not a lot, to be honest, but at least they're trying, right? And I mean, thinking in the past, we had much better team who melt down after a couple of minutes when we consider early goals. This is definitely a positive sign. And in a Serie A, who's for me very weak league, this is something that could help the team, right?
Oh, very. And I want to say that you've been right on something for the last couple of weeks. You've been consistent with Guendouzi. Basically, he hasn't what's it called been as good as I've think he should be. Like you said that. What does Guendouzi do in the midfield every game? And you've been consistent on this. And you also said that Basic. It's concerning when Basic is the best midfielder on your team when there are other players who should be better right now. Cataldi, the ceiling's only so high with him. You cannot
Yeah.
hate Cataldi. He is a bench player. I think if we had a proper midfield and he came on in the 60th minute, he can. But Gunduzi, after yesterday, that play on the sideline where he passes to nobody, it goes out of bounds. I gave up all hope on this player. I've never seen a player move the ball backwards so many times in a game where the ball dies on his foot. There's a chance inside the box. He shoots it right at the goalkeeper. No power, nothing. Um, he can't make a good final pass. He just, for me, he's a guy who runs north and south, east and west. I don't like to hear what you have to say because, like, I don't know what he did yesterday.
Yeah, he wasted a huge opportunity. The one you mentioned, that was a very good opportunity we had. And unfortunately, it happens to Guendouzi instead of Isaacsen or Zaccagni. That would have been a completely different result because that was a very weak shot. But the problem, Jerry, is that I think if you put Guendouzi with Luis Alberto, that's a different,
Yeah.
for me, Guendouzi is a Rino Gattuso type of player, right?
Mm.
Fighting, running all around. You're not going to win matches thanks to Rino Gattuso, but Rino Gattuso was running even for Andrea Pirlo, right? The problem is you have Basic, Guendouzi. They are very similar players, right? They're running, they're fighting, they're challenging, but they don't have quality. Uh, our midfield is dreadful. I mean, they're running. It was funny. I don't know if it show it even in the international broadcast. At a certain point, there was a stat saying, Cataldi is the player running more on the pitch. Yeah, but it's not a marathon, right? I don't care if, I mean, you can run zero and score 3 goals. That's much better, right? We are running all around, but football is not only running, it's scoring, it's skill, dribble, etc. Guendouzi with Basic is useless. There are people that runs challenge. You need quality. You need Luis Alberto. You need Milinkovic Savic. Put me Milinkovic Savic close to Guendouzi. That's different. We don't have quality player, and this is yesterday was so crystal clear, right? Inter is not playing unbelievable football. They have quality though. Midfield, defense, attack. We don't. We simply don't have it, right?
No, I absolutely agree with you. And not to make an excuse, but the injuries don't help either. When you don't have a transfer market and your
Yeah.
best players are out, and who can, you said this perfectly last episode. Look at the or maybe the episode previous against Pisa was, look at the players that you said this before. Look who we bring on the bench, off the bench versus Inter brought off the bench yesterday. You cannot compare the quality, man. The best player we brought off the bench was Pedro. A 39-year-old player is the best player. Noslin, I don't know, man. You give him 10, 15 minutes. I want to give him a chance. Maybe he's
Yeah.
better to start the game. Again, you cannot judge a player too when he only plays 10 minutes a game either. Like it's just too hard for me to say that Noslin's not the right player. If Dia is gonna play 65 minutes plus every game, I think Noslin should give him a chance to see what he can do, to see what you have. But the one player I think that is most importantly missed is Rovella. I
Yeah.
think Rovella it was the most important player this year because he's the only midfielder we have who can maybe do something with the ball to move it north south, create chances. Yeah, you are right. Like I wouldn't. You asked last episode, would you sign Basic? What do you do with him? Because he's a free agent this summer. His contract is up. I let him go. I would let him go because for two reasons. One, the same mistake's gonna happen again. He's gonna be buried away on the bench because I think it's just the moment, like you said, who's gonna replace Basic right now? We don't have nobody to replace him. So I think it's the moment where Sarri needs him really bad. And two, I think he's already hit his ceiling. I don't think you can get more than what you've gotten from Basic, unfortunately.
I mean, he's a fighter. He's someone that helps. Definitely, he's going to give your best. But is his best Champions League level? No, it's not, right?
No.
Probably. I mean, it's the same discussion about Guendouzi. If you put him near to Luis Alberto, then probably it's fine. But if you have Guendouzi and Basic, or Guendouzi and Dele Bashiru, because the problem is Dele Bashiru is the same, right? It's physical, but not quality. And you mentioned Cataldi. The second goal comes from a mistake from Danilo Cataldi.
Mm-hmm.
We have players that put together like that. They're not well sorted. You need someone who brings quality to the table, someone who brings goals. Because the other discussion we have to say is that Basic scored 2 goals in 5 years with Lazio. Guendouzi is another player who scores, 2 goals a season? Max. Cataldi as well is not. So our midfield, we were used to have Milinkovic scoring 12 goals, Luis Alberto scoring 10. We are missing like 20 goals this season. And if you add this to Castellanos, who scored 12 goals a season, we're going to miss a lot of goals going forward. So we need some quality. We need something there. And as you were mentioning, on the bench, who do we have? I mean, Vecino is probably better than the players we have,
Yeah.
but he's 34 years old. He's not getting any younger. He's injury prone. So it's going to be very difficult. But to be honest, we're not competing against Inter, right? We knew Inter was fighting for the title. We are fighting for, I don't know, mid-table. So it's not a game that we have to compare to, but it's clear that 3 years ago, we were able to beat Inter in the good days.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're not. I mean, the 2-0 is a fair result. Inter probably deserved to win, to close the first half 2-0, 3-0 probably. This is the problem. The quality, we are going down.
Well, the best chance came in the 80th minute when off a free kick from Cataldi,
Yeah.
and then the crossbar from Gila, which I thought almost went in by half. If that went in, I think the game changes for the last 10 minutes. I don't know if we win, but I think we've seen Inter in the past where when they give up a goal, they kind of start to crumble a little bit with Kivu. But it's you're right though. The positive now. Who do you think was? I thought Zakani was the best player on the pitch yesterday. I think the last 2 to 3 games he's been much better. I like the player still. I think the problem with Zakani is, like you said, who is he playing with? He's not. He's probably our best player on the pitch yesterday, and the quality you can see the difference between how he created. He earned 3 yellow cards.
Yeah.
Should have got 2 more. We could talk about Bastoni. How does that guy not
Yeah.
get a yellow card yesterday? The
Sarri
guy.
was so upset.
Do you blame him?
No,
I don't.
Sarri was upset because that was a clear yellow card and the ref
Yeah.
didn't give it. So
How is that not given? And I think there are 2 other players who should have got yellow cards. I can't remember who off the
Lautaro
top.
against on Zakani.
Lautaro. Yep, that
Yeah.
was another one. For me, that's a goal to me, in so many ways, because when you get a player on a yellow card, now they're more cautious. Now they got to be more tentative. Like You're
or get
scared.
dropped.
Yeah, look at halftime. What did Kivu do? He took out two players because they were on yellow. He did the Simone Inzaghi special, as they said on the broadcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
To be honest, Jerry, I said that Zaccagni from the start of this year, so from January, wasn't playing great football at all. And for us, he's a key player. He's not only the captain; he's the player with more quality. It's him and Isaacson. That's
mhm,
it. Who have quality. And as you were mentioning, in the last three games, he started playing good football. He's starting showing up. We miss him badly because we talk about the midfield that hasn't got quality. I think we have three players that has ball skill quality. Zaccagni, Isaacson, and Nosley. And we needed Zaccagni. I thought yesterday, I don't know if it was his best game so far, but was one of his best. So that's definitely one of the positive sign of yesterday, seeing
mhm.
Zaccagni playing like that, getting so many fouls. This is the biggest concern I have because, he's going to get injured
Yeah.
sooner or later. He got so many, and I don't want to start a rant about the referee because yesterday we didn't lose because of the ref. But if Zaccagni get 10 fouls in a game, well, you have to do something, right? You have to defend your most quality players. Football, we don't care about tackles, etc. We want to see great skills, goals, etc.
Mhm.
So you have to protect this type of players, and Zaccagni isn't protect at all. So that's the most concerning part. Plus, he's been called for the national team, which I'm happy for him, but I'm concerned he get injured. So, but yeah, the positive sign is definitely Zaccagni picking up. I thought Isaacson made a terrible mistake in the first goal, but
Mhm.
again, he's another player. He's starting to ramp up and playing better every game. So those are our best players so far, right?
Well, the first goal, I understand he can kick the ball out, but my other concern is you have five guys who
Yeah.
hover him. Now you have Latsity who's beside him nearby. No player comes in to assist the player, which bothers me the most. Is that you see a player who's in trouble. Where's the defense? You know what I mean? I and then Gila is in a position to try to block the shot, but I think he could have stepped up and kind of pressured Lautaro more. I thought the player himself had too much space to take that shot, but at the same time, when you see the shot, I think he kind of missed like shot. He mistimed the shot, and it went in a direction which kind of fooled Providel because you can see that he had no chance to stop the ball, but. It's frustrating. It's little mistakes that happen too quick as well. Like we were playing so good the last 4 or 5 games. Even if we didn't win, we played good defensively. And to make that mistake too early, like you said, it's you cannot give a team like Inter a
No.
chance. Like and also when you have a chance, you got to make the most out of it. Create something. Like you saw down the Pellegrini, that chance there, he just shoots it at the goalkeeper, and I think he had Pedro inside the box for a nice shot. I know it's a difficult pass in the moment, but
You know
it's
what? I had the impression that Pellegrini pretty much closed his eyes and shot as hard as he could. Instead, there, when you have the goalkeeper like that, you have to look and see where you have a little bit of space to put the ball, right? If
mhm,
you're gonna shoot hard, it doesn't care, right? If you hit the goalkeeper, he's gonna stop it anyway. So you have
yeah.
to point where you have a little bit of space and try to put the ball there. So that's the problem with Pellegrini. But again, Pellegrini came in instead of Lazzari, who had a decent game. But that's it, right? It's not that we have Mbappe on the bench and can change the game. Um, I don't remember if you wrote it in the chat last 2 days ago, etc. The quotes of Sarri on Noslin are concerning, right? Saying that if he's gonna play only if we're gonna have other injuries up there. I think Northlin in 15 minutes yesterday did more than not
Mhm.
than behind 65. I think he needs to start, especially if Castellanos going to be still injured. I honestly love Sarri, but I don't understand this problem with Northlin.
Well, what concerns me about Dia is the ball. Like I said with Guendouzi, it's even worse with Dia because his hold up, he is a player who's supposed to hold up the ball so the forwards can come in, so the team can move up. When he gets possession of the ball, it dies. He loses possession. And
Yeah.
if he gets a touch, the ball is too far. There was a play where he mistimed his run and could have had a good chance on the right side, and he didn't read it right. Even his runs, his reads are bad. Like he just seems so out of position, and he's just a body for me. At this point, I remember when we signed him, everybody was excited, but people forgot these guys score goals for Salernitana. Let's pump the brakes too, right? Like he was scoring in Serie B, not Serie A, last season. So the quality, and like you said, is already rubbish in Serie A. Imagine what Serie B is like.
I thought it
So,
could have been a good signing because I thought he was more number nine than Tariq Castellanos.
hmm,
But with this system, it's not working. It's not absolutely not working. So I think you have to find different solution. And I thought, I mean, you tried everything. You tried even Pedro as a number nine. The only one who didn't try is Nosling.
hmm,
And
true.
every time he comes in, he does something. I'm not saying he's spectacular, but at least he tried to do something. Yesterday, he had in 50 minutes one shot on target, which not Dia didn't have in 65. So I'm not saying hey we have Cristiano Ronaldo on the bench, but probably better than Dia, or at least give him a try and see what
Hmm.
happens. I mean, we were going to lose anyway. It's not that we lost because of Dia, but I mean, try. Let's do something different. So this is, I don't know. I don't understand. There's probably something behind it that we don't know.
No, I agree that we were probably going to lose, but at the same time, like you said, you've mentioned this before. When you create three chances in a game, you got to make the most out of your three chances. I think you said this last episode that when Lazio beat Cagliari, they got one or two chances, but they converted this time. And the problem yesterday is they had two or three chances. One got stopped, one hit a crossbar, and the other one just decided to flub the ball right to him from Guendouzi. So when you're Dia and you do get the ball up there, you got to create something with like that's Chito Immobile yesterday holding the ball. That ball is not going anywhere else but Chito's leg. Like the way Chito played, he was decisive. He was a killer. Like the ball hit his foot, he made the pass too. Like he made something happen with so much space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what we miss so much is a Cheeto who made a run behind the defense, who can beat a guy one on one. And when he came back with Lazio, like it's and then you said this like how, and I think we said this before Cheeto left is that we never had a proper backup to Cheeto to take over him when he was gonna leave, and then that's the biggest issue. Like I know the midfield is the midfield. But my bigger concern that you can see it is we don't have a proper number nine that ever
No,
took over Cheeto. I would take Cheeto back right now, and I guarantee you he'll probably do better than what we have right now.
I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, he's hurt.
I think
Maybe
Chiro.
I'm wrong, but I love Cheeto. I just think that Cheeto with 30 minutes off a bench probably does more than what we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, coming from the bench, he can be useful, but I think
Yeah.
he's done for some cell level.
Well,
What do you think about Lorenzo Insigne? I mean, how was he in
oh.
MLS? And do you think he can really help this team?
So I did media for TFC for 2 seasons, and I had the previewing Insigne. And in the hallway, I'll tell you, and I said, "Hi, how are you?" Didn't even look at me. Vittorio, this guy has the worst attitude I ever saw in my life, man. Like when for me, the players on TFC, I've met a few players. They say, "Hi, how are you? How are you doing?" This guy here, hey, ciao, and then he walk away. I interviewed Bernadeschi as well. I had the privilege of asking him a question. Nicest guy. Me, I'll tell you what. If when Bernadeschi and Insigne came, I wish Bernadeschi came and not Insigne because this would have been Bernadeschi's team. The attitude that guy has is amazing. Positive player. He's got quality. Insigne, he did nothing here. Absolutely nothing. You know what he came here for? A big paycheck. He brought his kids into education here because the education here, I don't know how it is in Italy, but in Canada, I guess it's different, but like he wanted to give his kid a proper education, whatever it is, and like
Well, learning English, I guess.
yeah, learn the English, yeah, exactly. But he never played a very good high level game. Like all he did was complain here, poor attitude. Um, on the field, I think in his first season he had a few good games and never always injured. He's always injured. I think that's the proper word for him. He's injury prone. I think the minute he touches the pitch with Lazio, he is going to get hurt, and that's what this guy is good for. I think that he is a cancer in the dressing room. The team never really looked well with him. For me, I don't I wouldn't bring this player back. And I don't understand. He's in his 30s now. What is he? 32, 33. He's up in age. Like he's close to Chito Immobile's age, I believe. So so here's the thing. If I'm gonna bring Insigne back, I'd rather bring Chito back. No, seriously, like
Yeah,
they're both. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. I'd rather go after Cheeto. He's free agent this summer. Bring him back. You bench player. You have a proper backup striker, which we don't even have in the first place either on this team. So,
yeah.
and I know. Sorry, I know. I don't mean to interrupt you, Vittorio.
No, no, don't worry.
I know that the player is no longer what he used to be, but he also never went a level down to go play in MLS. You know what I mean? He stayed in Europe to play. I know the Turkish league is not the greatest league, but there are some good teams there that you compete against. Whereas MLS, it's very rubbish. I hate to say it. I call it the retirement league where the players, oh, it's true. Like the players hit it. Either they're not good enough and they go there, or they hit a level in their career where they say, you know what, it's time to take a step down. I'm going to go to the MLS. So
Yeah. The biggest concern I have is that he pretty much didn't play in the last year, right? So he will need even time to get fit. And if he comes in January, time he gets fit, the season is over. So
mhm, good
again,
point.
it looks like Sarri wants him, but I cannot, especially because he's playing in the position of Zaccagni. So I wouldn't bench Zaccagni for Insigne, and
No way.
especially, I mean, how long has he been in the MLS? 3 years?
3 4 years. But you know what's even more concerning? He was benched for like academy players, other players. Like, isn't that concerning that you as a starter, a Serie A player, couldn't get your position? You were always subbed. You were a bench player this year. He started off as a bench player. He missed. He had a holdout with the team because he wanted to leave, and he wanted the team to pay him out. He didn't want to lose any money, so
Of
he
course.
just held. Which I understand, but at the same time, who are you, man? Like you're not even producing, and you're coming to the team saying, "I want to be paid. You gotta buy me out if you don't want me here anymore." No, it's the other way around. You don't play, you don't produce.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, see you later. So yeah, I it's a good point though. I wouldn't replace Zakani with Insigne. That is then you're really taking the quality out of the team, like you said, right? It's bad enough we don't have any good players on the team, and now you really want to like make it weaker. So yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know this fascination of Insigne. Just like Noslin. Noslin's a perfect example because Baroni played with him, I believe at Verona, and
Yeah.
oh, I gotta bring this player. I gotta bring this player. They spent what over 10 million euro to bring this guy here, and now they don't even play him. And they're gonna do the same thing with Insigne, but the difference is they don't have to buy the player; they just gotta pay his wages. And I don't know, man. And then what to bring a player to do what? Play 2 games in the whole season? Like when you need somebody who needs to be in and out of
I
of
don't
the
know.
roster.
I mean, I
So
can understand that he had his best season with Sarri as manager at Napoli, but that was ages ago, right? It looks like we're looking in the past instead of looking at the future. And again, we have to see the wages he wants. I
yeah,
mean, I won't think he would come for cheap. And again, I mean, Zaccagni is stepping up. You don't need to find a replacement for Zaccagni. I mean, if you need someone in front, you need a number nine, not a
mhm,
winger. But I think our priority, and we were speaking about this before, it's a quality midfielder, a sort of regista who comes in and move the ball. because
Yeah.
that's where we're lacking more. Yeah, we can talk about the fullbacks because Marusic, Lazzari, Pellegrini, etc. They're not amazing. I mean, they do their job, nothing special. But I think our biggest concern, our biggest need is there in the midfield, quality player who's going to cost you money. So I don't know if it's going to be possible for us, right? That's our biggest concern.
Well, I don't know. Saudi, like I said before earlier in the show, is that Saudi doesn't even know if the transfer market is going to be open in January to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going to sell, what they're going to do. Like I can go on for days with that. Like you've already broken that down in your previous, I believe earlier in the summer about that, and how. So even if we do buy a midfielder, or my question to you is, what is the direction of this team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sent you this note the other day. Look at this. We have 5 players off the top of my head. I know that are no longer a Lazio player this summer. Vecino's gone. His contract expires. Pedro said he's gone this summer, which I don't blame him. Basic, contract done. Husai, contract done. Dia, it says that it expires this summer, but there's a condition on the contract for another year, which I don't even know that if that's even going to happen. He has to hit certain certain requirements for the contract to be extended. I don't see that's happening personally. Me, I don't know the whole contract thing, but that's 5 players that are leaving this team this summer. Now you got to replace these players. The question is, who do we replace them with, and what is I don't like you said the sporting director. You're not convinced with him because this is worse than Tade. Like at least Tade had an idea to buy players. He had yes, he kind of declined as his time was here. He was here for over a decade too, right?
Yeah.
But I thought overall he did a good job. He found guys like Luis Alberto, Milinkovic Savic, Ciro Immobile. He found Iturbi. Like he found good players for good prices. And that's the problem. We need a sporting director who can find good young talent for 10 million euros. 10 million euros is a lot of money to buy a player still for me in Serie A. But I say in Serie A,
Yeah.
but you need to have the right idea of what are you going to buy? Why? Like,
I mean, that's the problem. I mean, Fabiani last year was talking about a youth program, about a coping Feyenoord. It doesn't look like. We don't have an idea of what we're doing. And this is the biggest concern. It's true that the list you said are all over 30 players. So I think that's good to let them go. But you
yeah,
have to replace them. That's the biggest concern. Because the problem with Lazio is not letting go the players, it's replacement with better players, which hardly happen usually with Lotito. So that's one
yeah,
of the biggest concerns we have. Again, his eye has been hardly playing. Vecino often injured. Pedro is 38. I mean, it's the right moment to let him go. But you have to find other players, if possible, better than this, which I'm not sure Fabiani has the quality to do it. So, I mean, it's unbelievable to miss Iglitare, but I mean, Fabiani is worse than Tario. I think we can honestly say that, and we're seeing it, right? We're seeing it every single day that our team is getting worse and worse, and this is a big problem for us because it's not only the gap against Inter, is Roma, Bologna, Atalanta. They're all improving, and we are going down, and it's tough to fight for the top position in the league if you are getting worse than 7, 8 teams. So this is where we're struggling, and we are every fan is concerning. Jerry, can I ask you something? Because
yeah.
yesterday, Sarri said after the game, said they asked him about the transfer market, and he said, "I'm not pretending nothing until June. It's fine. I accepted the situation, etc. But after June, things have to change." Do you think that's Sari saying, "Hey, if nothing happens, I'm gonna quit. If nothing happens, I'm gonna leave the club because I can no longer go on like this"?
If you're sorry, how would you feel being in the situation he's in? Look at the team he has to coach. Like, I think he's done a good job up till now. People say change the coach. The coach is the problem. The coach is not the problem. Is I want everyone to understand, if you tomorrow bring in Allegri or you bring in whoever you want, is that going to change? Maybe the formation can help a little bit to get more out of certain players. But at the end of the day, the player is the player on the pitch. The quality is the quality. And that's what you're going to get. And Sarri can only do so much with a roster that already has 6 injuries, 7 injuries. And if you're already missing your starting lineup, what are you going to replace it with now? Very low, below average kind of players, right? So, yeah, I think that maybe he will leave because you cannot go on any longer not buying players next summer. If we go another year not buying players, this is a big issue. You know what I mean? This is a big issue. Like that's like what are you going to play then? Like I believe we just mentioned, 5 players are coming off the books. Who knows if they're going to sell a player like Tavares, where Chelsea wanted to buy it, apparently.
Let's hope.
So it, I you cannot hate Saudi in any instance here, because at the end of the day he could have jumped ship. I think he's done better than people probably thought. What, 4 clean sheets we got?
Yeah.
Before
Plus,
this game, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, last year we could see him go to everybody, and this has improved. I think the other thing we have to point out, he was coming back convinced to fight for maybe not the Champions League, but for the 5th place, and he find out that no, you couldn't. We cannot make the transfer market. So I think he did an incredible job of staying, and he did it only for the fans, not for anything else. But he's still a competitor. He still wants to win. So if the situation persists, he's going to leave because he wants to win. He wants to fight for something bigger than the 10th place in the Serie A league. So, and this is concerning because, I mean, Sarri, it's a great manager. Not only, to be honest with you, it's not that if Sarri leaves, we're going to sign Mancini or Zidane or something. We're going to sign a 3rd division manager. It's not that he's leaving and we're going to sign Pep Guardiola. This is what people don't understand. We're going to sign, Ballardini, managers like that, low-level managers, because this is what Lotito is going to do and has the chance to do. So this is why we need to stick with Sarri, because he's our holy hope that we have to do something better next season, hoping to change the players, because for me, at the end of the day, the players make the difference. They go on the pitch, they play. So, you can have Pep Guardiola, but if you're playing with Basic, then he's not going to be De Bruyne, right? He's still going to be Basic. So this is our biggest concern, right?
No, absolutely. The only thing I would say, if you want improvement under Sarri, is maybe change the formation. I think if you were to change from the 4-3-3 to go to a 4-4-2 or a 3-4-2-1 or something, I think we have a lot of wing backs on this team that you can get more out of Lazio as a wing back, Modisic as a wing back. I know it's easier said than done, but I think that there are some players who would be better suited in a different formation. I think there was Alistair talked about it. There was one game where I think he went to a 4-4-2 and they played it very well, and he never went back to it again. So I don't know. I think that's one thing that's the one area of Sarri that concerns me, is that he doesn't adapt. He's very rigid and stuck to his ways, which is most managers. But in today's football, I think to be a better manager, you need to be progressive and you need to adapt to different formations to change it up sometimes. I think that when you do the same thing over and over, teams figure you out. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing I would do with this team, is that maybe a change of a formation, but it's easier to say.
I mean, Serie A is not amazing football, but it's very tactic, and all the managers study a lot the opponent team, so they are prepared. So maybe a little bit of surprise could work. Now there's international break, so we hope to recover some players and hopefully don't get players in the national team injured. Zaccagni, Isaacson are very important for us, so let's cross fingers. Jerry, thanks for joining me. It has been a pleasure. I hope to have
No
you
problem.
again on the podcast sooner or later.
Can I add one thing?
Of course you can.
I know you don't like the international break. I like it for one reason. We have too many injuries, and I think it's a benefit for us, for players to recover. It gives an extra week, maybe 2 weeks actually. But I think as for a team like Lazio who has so many injuries, I hope Rivella is back on time after the international break. That's the one guy I'm looking at. I'm hoping he's the most important player for us, and I hope this time when he comes back, Sarri manages him better, and instead of playing him hurt. So, but yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Go Bears!
Yeah, we're gonna start a bear podcast sooner or later. But yeah, I think even Tati Castellano absence has been a lot. We missed him a lot. More to be honest, not because Tati is so good, such a good player, but because Dia was so bad that we missed him terribly.
It's good point.
But anyway, yeah, let's hope to have some players back. I mean, Rovella is out, Nuno Tavares is out, Castellanos, so Cancellieri as well. He's been very good at the beginning of the season.
Well, that's another player. If you bring Insigne, you have Cancellieri who can play as an inverted winger, right? So, I want to say congratulations to Mackenzie as well. Alistair, congrats.
Yeah. For people who are listening and maybe don't know, Alistair is out of the podcast because he's on paternity leave. We have a little Mackenzie around Rome now, so he's enjoying his little son, and hopefully will be back sooner or later. Anyway, Jerry, again, thanks for joining us. Thanks everybody for listening. Remember, you can subscribe and support our podcast at patreon.com/Lazio Lounge. Membership starts at $2 a month, and we're gonna be back next week. Take care, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.